Good. Okay. I think we're good to go here. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and joining the session. My name is Miriam Chamberlain. I am one of the hosts today. It is my absolute pleasure to be introducing our speaker, Gift Ajimokun. Gift is the customer service specialist at Pinpoint and is with us today to introduce the amazing Pinpoint platform. Gift is a problem solver at heart and will likely be the first person you speak to if you come into the support team. She is a freelance diversity and inclusion consultant here to discuss the D&I features of Pinpoint. We will have a couple of minutes at the end for some Q&A as well. Go ahead.
Hi everyone, my name's Gift, and as Miriam just said, I'm the customer support specialist here at Pinpoint. Pinpoint is an applicant tracking system aimed at attracting, hiring, and onboarding the right candidates for your organization. And today I'm hoping to talk you through the different elements that Pinpoint has as part of its system to make sure that you're thinking about and integrating diversity and inclusion in every step. So I'm going to share my screen now and talk you through it. But one of the first and biggest assets we have, excuse me, is internal talent. So, when you are talking to us and interacting with us through email or over the phone, you're not just talking to tech support, you are talking to people that have experience from HR to data analysts. And so if you need help with something and you want to know how to use the Pinpoint platform to its fullest potential, you can reach out to us for that purpose and we'll be happy to help. All right, on to the demo. All right, so when an applicant applies for a role and they find the role that they want, they apply and they go through the application process, they will be met at the end if you turn this on for the job with a form, a diversity and inclusion form. So this is something that is completely optional because we understand that the data that they're sharing is sensitive, so it's completely optional and can be toggled on and off depending on what you want for that role and what data you want to capture for that role. But also this data is completely anonymous, so it's never attached to the applicant. It can never be traced back to the applicant. It's just for the purpose of tracking the kind of people that are applying for those roles. And so you can change all the information here and even the options under each category, as well as adding more categories if you feel like there's more data you want to capture in this area. So for example, in the US, you might want to capture veteran status of the people that are applying for your roles. So after the candidate has sent the application in and the diversity and inclusion data in, you'll be like, great, how are we doing? That job we put out, we want to see the kind of people that have been applying for the roles with us. Well, in Pinpoint, on the left-hand side, there's an area called Equality Monitoring under Insights, and you'll be taken to this lovely page. So this page has a breakdown of the different categories that you had in the previous one, so your diversity and inclusion survey, and this will basically show you how you're doing and where how representational the applicants have been. And these can all be filtered via time periods. So if you want to track for different periods of time, if you did a campaign 3 months ago, you want to see how if the numbers change for your quality monitoring during that time, or if you want to check if certain locations or departments are doing better or worse when it comes to kind of increasing diversity and representation, then you can filter by those things here in the insight area. So it's very helpful and it's great to be able to capture this data. So right, they've applied, you're checking and you're like, I'm not really happy. I would like to increase the female representation female representation in applications. How can I do that? Well, in the individual jobs, we have job boards, which means that we are integrated with many different job boards to target many different types of demographics. So when you click into the job, there'll be a section here called Adverts, and there you can basically search up any of our job boards and that we integrate with. For example, Women Technology International, which is a United States-based jobs board, or Women in Tech, which is a UK-based jobs board, and you can basically use advertise your job via these platforms to make some targeted ads to increase, in this case, women in technology roles. So it's a really exciting thing that we have, because it means that if you're not happy with that number on the previous page, you can actually do something about it and target the specific audience that you're looking for. So once you've put your ad out and you've got all these great applicants in, how do you reduce bias when you're actually looking at the application form? So when the application form comes in, it will come through actually exactly like this. So you'll have a Pinpoint summary of the person's information. You can see their email address, phone number, address, as well as the source of the application. And then when you click onto resume, you'll be able to have a look at the CV they submitted. However, the application submission is usually where the most bias is found. And so we have something called anonymous screening. And so what anonymous screening does is that it basically hides all the information that we may be implicitly biased towards. So this same candidate with anonymous screening looks like this. So we found that for anonymous screening, when the candidate's name was a set of numbers, that the candidates' names, which were lower numbers, were kind of favored over of other candidates. And so now in our anonymous screening, it's a combination of colors, fruits, and vegetables. So when you receive an application, you'll still have the pinpoint summary, but any information that alludes to their gender or their name or anything like that is removed. And as you can see, it's all either hidden or it's changed using the fruit, colors, and vegetables. You can't see where it came from, nothing like that. And then the resume is also standardized. So you can see the executive summary as well as just their education and their experience. And this is really helpful because basically no matter what format the CV has come in, every single person's CV will look like this. So we're not swayed by colors or fonts or anything like that. We are just looking at the information and we're using that to hire rather than being swayed by anything else. Now, when a candidate moves to the interview stage, their information will be revealed and you can invite them to interview. But how can we reduce bias during the interview? Well, we have something called Stalk Scorecards. So scorecards look something like this, and they can be added, so there'll be overhead, category, as well as different criteria within each one. And you can rate the candidate, as you're speaking with them and asking the different interview questions, you can rate each candidate out of 5 about how well they answered the questions and how well you think they did. And you can also add comments into your scorecards. And so what this does is that it basically standardizes the process for interviewing. It means that rather than rating someone on something that's intangible and kind of arbitrarily talking about it, you can actually just score the candidates based on how well you think they answered the question or completed the task. And so once each hiring manager has completed a scorecard for a candidate, it will calculate an average, and I'll show you what that looks like. But just before I move on, I was going to also mention that each criteria can be weighted differently. So if you kind of prefer previous experience over intellectual curiosity or the other way around, you can weight each question to reflect that. So once each hiring manager, like I said, has entered the score for each of the candidates, this is what you'll get. So you'll have the average score of how well they ranked on each of the different criteria, as well as a kind of a breakdown of their average score. And if it's been anonymized, it will still look like this. If in the HR team, if you're doing an evaluation afterwards about how you think each candidate did and which candidates you want to hire, you can actually order them based on the different criteria that you set. So if you're like, oh, actually, the intellectual curiosity is really important to us, who scored highest in that, then the page will rearrange and show you who scored highest in this area, and then you can use this shortlist to then make your decision. So that's the end of the demo, but that's obviously not the end of the Pinpoint story. There was many, many things that we can do to help, and the platform is growing and changing every day, every month, every year to become the best platform that it can be. And we're really, and I'm really proud of someone that's quite new to the organization of the work that Pinpoint is doing. And I think it's absolutely brilliant. I'm now open to any questions that you might have.
Thank you so much, Gift, for that demo. I appreciate that. It looks like we don't have any questions coming through. But what I would like to do is you have a contact information that we could share perhaps on the chat. And it'll be, because we are recording it, it'll be circulated. So if anyone has any questions or wants to reach out, at least they'll be able to reach out to you.
Awesome.
Okay. I don't think there's... Perfect. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll wrap up right now, Gift, and if you could just, like I said, drop your contact information in the comment section, that would be wonderful.
Amazing. Doing that right now.
Awesome. And thank you very much for spending your time with us today. We appreciate that.
No problem at all. Yeah, and if they have any trouble reaching me, they can contact Pete or they can contact Jeff and they can get in touch. No worries.
Sounds great. Okay. Well, thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.